All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We've got UFC Fight Night Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. We were off last week due to an injury to myself, but we are back this week and we are ready to rock this shit out. So, um, 14 fights, 14 fights stayed intact. There was a bunch of replacements, late replacements. It was kind of crazy, but here we are. So, Joey, unless you got anything else to add in, we'll jump right into it.
Let's jump right in.
All right, first fight up, we have Daniel Marcos against Richie Long. And we will let you start off as always.
Um, I got Marcos. Uh, I know people are a lot saying that Marcos more likely could have lost his fight versus Davy Grant. Um, but I kind of feel this fight could be somewhat easier than Davy Grant to an extent. I think is not gonna have any problem winning, but I don't think he's gonna finish a Corey Lang. So without any sort of a finish, I don't think he's gonna pay off his price tag.
Yeah, that's fair. Marcos hasn't really shown us his, a whole lot of power. He's kind of, half and half knockout and decision. And so far in the UFC, we haven't seen enough out of him aside from a knee on Oliveira, to show consistent knockouts, especially against someone like Richie Long. And I kind of want to put an asterisk next to this fight because I have Marcos. There's no doubt about it, but the volume and toughness out of Richie Long does worry me a little bit because Marcos, he seems to, in my opinion, he fights to uh, the technical level of his opponent, which is an issue. But we will see. Both of us going with Marcos. It's not a play that we recommend for DFS, but he is the pick to win. Next up, we have Hyder Emil and Fernie Garcia, and Emil is fucking nasty. I'm really excited for this fight. Hyder is just get excited for him because man, he's going somewhere. He's super impressive. If you haven't watched him fight before, go watch. He's been in Bellator. He's been on LFA. He's ready for the UFC, and he gets a late replacement. He was supposed to fight two other people. The most recent being Bagdasarian after Nerdenbeek. And now he gets Fernie Garcia, who is, kind of hot garbage. And he's taking this on short notice after already having lost three in a row. Hyder is one of my favorite plays of the whole slate.
So one thing I also like about Hyder, and I was doing my overall due diligence on it. I was like, okay, I love his style, but originally I didn't know what camp he came from. Do you know what camp he trains out of?
I was looking at it earlier. He
El
fights,
Nino.
yeah,
You know who El Nino's training camp is, right?
I don't know who the coach
One of
is. No.
my other favorite guys I enjoy watching, Gilbert Melendez. And once I saw that, I was like, oh shit, now I see where he got his style from. Always forward pressure in your face, volume for days, combinations. Usually I always tell people, I think without a finish, I don't think Emil's gonna pay off. There's a good chance with his volume alone, he's gonna pay that. He's every strike he throws is damn near significant. He I think this is like you said, he's one of your favorite plays. He's one of my sleeper plays. Hopefully he doesn't get a lot of ownership.
Oh, he will. He's going against
I
Fernie
know.
Garcia. But it's definitely a good fight for him, coming into the UFC. So both of us going with the favorite in Hyder Emil. Next up, we've got Zach Pauga against Bogdan Guskov. And where are you going on this one?
So originally I was trying to go back and forth. You can say, Paga's not the greatest. He lost to Usman, but that was at heavyweight. He beat Jordan Wright, which I honestly thought that could have been a high point for him, and he didn't finish Jordan Wright. Um, Now, his next fight after that, he lost a decision to Dawkins, which I called, but I was like, come on, man. Now he's going against a more danger guy in Gustav. Yes, he fought Ozdemir, but that was his toughest fight to date. And Piaga is nowhere near the talent of Ozdemir. I think Gustav is a live dog to get an early finish.
Pauga's trash.
I know.
Lock Bogdan in.
He's probably
He's,
gonna be. Look, to me, from what I'm guessing, I think Gustav's gonna be that favorite dog as Drew Dover was last week. Because everyone was on the Dover train, which I was,
I wasn't.
but I know a lot of people were on Dover last week. But
Really? They're
Yeah, a lot of
bummed.
people were on Dober. But I think Gustav's one where at any point, because Zach Pog is not dangerous.
No,
And I think Gustav, even if it's not, I know we want a first round finish, but there's a realistic chance he can get it within the first two and still pay off his tag.
I agree. Absolutely. Bogdan, he didn't really get a chance to show us everything that he's capable of in his first fight because he was fighting. I wouldn't, say he's like a high level fighter,
No.
but he's definitely much better than Zach Palga. And all of Bogdan's wins have come by way of finish, 12 of them by knockout, 2 by submission. He's dangerous everywhere, and he should just run through Palga.
I agree.
All right. So moving on. Next up, we've got Max Griffin and Jeremiah Wells. I know this is one of your favorite fighters, and Jeremiah Wells, he fights in one of your favorite camps. He's got a lot of good teammates that you're a big fan of, those Philly boys. I'm all over Wells. Wells is probably my favorite play on this slate. Griffin, he's a great defensive fighter. There's no doubt about it. But he's now, I think he's 38 now. He's shown visible signs of slowing down in every fight, his past couple fights. And, I just think that this could easily be a 5, 6, 7 takedown fight for Wells if he does not finish this early. And I mean, we're looking at 110, 115 or plus points wise for DFS.
As you said earlier, I probably don't need to say much. Wells is one of my favorite guys, trains at my favorite gym out in Renzo, Philly. And we're talking about another guy later on in the show in that same gym. One thing I'll say is I think Griffin is slightly the better pure straight puncher. I'm not saying he has the more power, but at least early, I think Griffin could be live to at least survive, make Wells work. Because overall wise, Griffin's defense ain't bad, but later, the more pressure you leave on him later on the fight, as you said, his cardio does tend to go a bit. He does end up gassing later, and I think that's when Wells could really start putting him into deep water. And I think Wells is also a play where if anyone's going to play anything out of this fight, it is the Wells side. Could he finish Griffin because he's slowing down? Yes. Could he rack up 5 to 7 takedowns, as you said? Very much could. My picks as well, so easily, and like I said, I don't go against that gym.
Yep, no doubt. So both of us going with the favorite in Jeremiah Wells. Next up, we've got Devin Clark against Marcin Prachnio. And I am not a big fan of this fight. How about you?
Not really, and honestly, I think this is a fight. Just going back, I don't know why I even rewatched this fight. Me and you even talked about it, and we almost made that one fighter our pick during before we didn't do the switch. This fight could potentially be Thomas Peterson and Jamal Poogs all over again. This fight could absolutely suck and be low scoring, but overall wise, both guys' cardio do go. Both guys, don't have the best IQ. But my lean is Clark. I'm probably gonna try to stay away from this fight. Too many questions. But if Clark comes in with the right game plan, there's a chance he could smash value with just control time, takedowns. He's not strong on top pressure, so Pragnow can get up, takedown, repeat, takedown, repeat. Clark's a I'm probably gonna fade it because I think this fight is gonna suck, but the pick's gonna be Clark.
Yeah, I got Clark as well, and I actually fully expect it to be almost identical to the match he had against Vit Petrino in his last time out. Clark is naturally a wrestler. He's not much of a striker, and Prochnio's takedown defense is just pitiful. So the only thing I see that Prochnio has going for himself is potential knockout, particularly if he slows him down with his leg kicks. But that's about it. I don't trust him at all. I don't trust Clark at all. But definitely pick is Clark. So both of us going with the favorite in Devin Clark. Next up, we've got Loma Lookboonmee against Bruna Brasil. And damn it, I wanted to take Brasil so bad because I know she can fight. She's actually, she hasn't really shown us everything that she's capable of. She did have a tough matchup against Denise Gomes when she just got completely obliterated. But I've got Loma in this fight. I just the volume that Loma Lookboonmee followed by her wrestling is just it's too much for me to want to even try to take Brazil in this fight. And this could be another. I mean, all of Brazil's losses have come by way of knockout. She's been lost 3 times. She's been knocked out 3 times. I don't foresee Loma getting a knockout, It is entirely possible, though. She gets up in top control, and we could see her just rain down. But yeah, that's my pick. I'm going with Loma.
So I'll tell you right now, this was one of my dog considerations. Because honest to God, yeah, look, Boomy's not looking overall bad. She's developing each and every fight. But realistically, she's a natural 105er. We just don't have the weight class. And it could be this fight or it could be a fight down the road. One of these fights, she's going to get big sister terribly due to her size. Could it be this fight? I could say yes. I could say no because Brazil's in and out bouncing style.
Can't really say that though because Tabitha Ricci's only 5'1". It's just
But
she's the same
but she's the natural
exact
wrestler,
size.
Lecter. I'm talking about somebody that has natural size and strength. And Luke Boomy, I wouldn't say she's great anywhere, but she's good enough everywhere. So one of these days, somebody's gonna be so much bigger than her and just outstrength her. Could it be this fight? I want to say no, because I think Brazil's is gonna try to bounce around her feet and just try to keep it like a boring decision. Because if she keeps it close with Luke Boomy, she's gonna stay in the get in the clinch. And we've seen she can do some good work in the clinch, working trips like she did against Elise Reed. And I almost wanted to do Brazil so bad. I was thinking about it all day, but the more I'm thinking about it, I'm going with Boomy. But as
I'll
a
give
play,
you one
it's a
last little thing as that'll just seal your pick.
okay.
Loma's 2 losses in the UFC have come against straight fighters.
Yep.
Loopy and Hill. I mean, that's all you really need to know.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going Luke Boomy. But as a DFS play, I'm not touching this fight.
I'm just gonna make a note. She could surprise with a fucking score right here. Is it likely? No, but
But
Brazil, like I said, she's been knocked out 3 times. So both of us going with the favorite in Loma Lukbunmi. Next up, we have a fight we're not going to touch a whole lot on because it's had replacements and now it's two debuting fighters. We got Balaji Oki against, I don't even know if that's how you say his name, against Timothy Kwamba.
yeah, Kawamba.
Oki had a ridiculous contender series knockout. It was nasty.
I
And
saw.
he's an athlete. He's definitely, a guy to watch for. And on the other side, so is Kwamba. And both of these guys on a full camp, the fight would probably be a lot closer. But um, I'm going to go with Oki. And, we could very well see a nasty knockout, or we could see him run out of gas and drop the third round. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm on Oki. I think, Kawamba's gonna try to come out early, try to push a heavy pace. Especially he fought, what was it, like 6 days ago? And now he's taking this fight now. So I'll say he's gonna be in somewhat fight shape because he pretty much steamrolled a kid. But I'm on Oki. His striking's crazy athletic. And one thing I like about him is his striking. He doesn't just headhunt. He has good body work. He has good combinations. I don't know if I see a finish at 9,500. I don't know if Oki's gonna be able to keep that pace for all for three. So if you're playing Oki, you're expecting probably something between like under 1.5. Probably get a knockdown, then he could pay it off. But I'm expecting this fight to go longer. I think it's actually gonna be a decent fight.
Yep, I agree. But both of us going with the favorite and Oki. Next up, we got Trevin Giles against Carlos. Is it Prates or it's got to be Prat? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Prates.
Prati,
Who you
yeah.
got? Who you got in this one?
So this was another fight I was considering as a possible dog. And one thing I would say is, like, people are saying Trevin Giles sucks. But here's the thing. He finally pretty much left his main job. Now he's looking at MMA full time. He hasn't lost to really no bums per se. He lost to the Bonfim guy.
The better Bonfim
The
brother.
better Bonfim. But one thing I'll say about Brady is his striking is so freaking good. It is. He has good volume, good overall striking defense. And I will say this for GPP, you gotta target one of these sides. Both guys are durability is not the greatest per se. Trevin Giles does get finished. Ferrantes, I think what majority of his losses are by finish. So this could be a good fight for GPPs. I'm going to favor. I think at one point, this is how the fight I could see it. Wouldn't shock me if Giles won in the early because Giles does have a good jab, and if you can control a jab, you can control a fight for the most part. But I think at one point Paredes is going to catch him with a mean combination and potentially knock him out. How early could it be? If it's round one, he's going to pay off the price. Depending on the volume through two, who knows? But I'm on the favorite, but just so slightly.
Yeah, this is our first pick that we're going to be different because I will always ride Giles. He is much better than people give him credit for. And when it comes down to it, I have it written that Paredes or Prates is he is a dangerous fighter, but Giles is a big step up to everything that he has fought. And like you mentioned, he's only lost to to good people. He lost to the better
Mhm.
Bonfim brother. He lost to Dricus
Duplessis.
Duplessis, who's got the belt. And he lost to Michael Morales, who's on his way to challenging for the belt. So it's all of his losses are good. He fights very, very patient. He's a very high IQ fighter. Yeah, he has been finished 5 times. There's no doubt of that that can happen. But so is Carlos. Carlos been finished 5 times. I just think the experience for Giles is going to edge this one out.
So before we get into the next fight, one thing I will say, and I'll make it short. So Prize is coming from the Contender Series, and out of the whole of this past season, Dana White said he believes this the kid that has the most potential out of the whole season.
Yeah, well, Dana White's also a fucking idiot. So I mean, he thought Salvador was going to beat Oki, and Oki beat the shit out of him. So
Hey,
I don't,
I
I,
got
I don't, I don't go with
medium
anything
Oki on
that
that
Dana
one.
White says because he knows absolutely nothing. All he does is shell out money and sign the wrong fighters. So that's that. He can kiss my ass. All right. So we are split on that one. I got Trevin Giles. You've got Carlos. You next up we have Rodolfo Vieira against Armin Petrosian. And let's go back to you on this one. This fight was supposed to happen in October, I believe. Now it is happening for sure this time. Who you got?
So I think it got canceled the first time because I think someone got sick. I think it was
I don't
uh,
think Vieira got sick. Well, maybe it
Petrosian, maybe. I don't know, but so this is your. I
was
think
it
this
was
is.
Petrosian.
I think this is another decent GPP fight. You can pick your side if Herrera gets it his ground game early when they're both dry. There's a good chance there's a good chance he could be very much live for a finish. He's very dangerous. Um, if Perosian can stop the takedowns early, I don't know if he'll get a finish because I will give Pereira. He's very durable on the feet. He does take shots. Um, my pick's gonna probably be Petrosian. He It's gonna be a good fight. I'll tell you now, I don't necessarily agree with the 82 and 8,000. I see why it's that way, but I think whoever wins is gonna absolutely steamroll that price. Whoever wins and gets their game plan, they're gonna look like a 2 to 3 favorite in this fight easily.
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about Armin Petrosian.
He's not showing his dangerousness because like in the contender series, he was letting his power go. He was getting finishes, and yeah, he beat RoboCop. Okay, good. He beat Duncan. Okay, there was a level ahead. He was over Duncan, but if he can stop the takedowns, I know he actually got some training at American Top Team in Florida, so he's getting good bodies that are getting his takedown defense up there. If he knows he can work on that, maybe he can get more dangerous and get some finishes. But I think just the striking alone is going to be too much.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm on Vieira. Petrosian, unless his takedown defense has gotten significantly better, he's going against a BJJ champion, world champion. And, you know, you rewind a little bit back to the Vieira Chris Curtis fight. Vieira couldn't get any takedowns and he hung with Chris Curtis the entire fight. I mean, that says something. And I don't think that Petrosian is any better a striker than Curtis is. So I've got Vieira. Um, I as far as DFS goes, I if Petrosian wins, I don't see him scoring 90.
No,
If Vieira wins, I see him scoring over 100. So for me,
like
the
I wrote
plays
down in my notes, Vieira, GPP, Corrosion, potential fade. Until I know he can get some finishes. If you told me he was getting finishes at 8 grand, oh yeah, I'd feel 10 times more confident. Yeah, he stops takedowns, he's gonna get finishes. He throws decent volume, but like I said, Ferreira's shown he's toughness. Well, he's getting hit, but until I see finishes, he won't be like as a play. But
he's never been knocked out before. So
no, could it happen
we
eventually?
are
But
We are split on that one. I've got Vieira and you have Petrosian. Next up, we have Michael Johnson and Darius Flowers. And we'll go back to you again on this one. Who you got?
So low key, I was almost all day today until I started watching the back to the tape. I almost went Johnson, almost did. But what scared me was that knockout he just took. Look, that I can understand maybe if he got TKO'd, okay, it happens. But he got flatlined by a guy that's primarily a grappler. Yes, Diego has decent power in his hands. Um, Flowers, he's the smaller version of Cannoneer. He started at 85, then he went to 70. Now this fight's at 55. This guy has power. And if Johnson's not minding his P's and Q's in this fight, there's a good probable chance he's getting flatlined again. Because Flowers does come out early. He's going to let the hands fly. And if he connects early, he's going to look like one of the easier dogs you had to play in this card. I'm a Johnson fan, but I think you got to hang him up. I think Flowers is going to try to overcrowd him early and potentially get an early round finish.
Yep. I still think that Michael Johnson is the best, worst fighter of the UFC ever. And I will
His
stand by
best
that.
day, he can beat Diamond Poirier. But his worst, ugh.
So I'm all over Flowers. We didn't get to see what Flowers is capable in his first fight, and I fully expect it to happen in this one. Michael Johnson's going to get knocked out in the first round. So that's my pick.
Good
We
bet.
are both on Flowers. Next up, we have Brad Tavares against Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. And man, if Tavares showed me anything, it's that he's pretty much done. He has just been smacked aside from low level fighters. I mean, he beat a Chris Weidman that was coming back from death. And I've got no faith in Tavares. And even if he does win, he never scores well in DFS. So he'll score 70 points in a win, if that. RoboCop has a ton of power. He's got a good ground game. He is one of my favorite picks on the slate because I fully expect him to finish Tavares.
So, for the most part, you can say Tavares been pretty durable as a whole. Yes, he got TKO'd by Silva. Um, if I knew anything, I was gonna say that Rodriguez would go for the takedown, get a sub. And guess what? He hasn't got a sub yet. He's been throwing his insane RoboCop hands
Those
and dropping
elbows.
people and finishing them.
Those elbows are
Those
nasty.
elbows. You can ask Dennis Tertullian how the elbows felt on the ground.
No
I
kidding.
screamed to y'all stop. But look, I can understand why the UFC gave him this matchup. I would say Brad Tavares is like an ideal one of the gatekeepers at 85. If you can get Brad past Tavares, you could see Rodriguez's name with a number on it or next fight damn near close. I got RoboCop. I'm trying to think how the fight's gonna go because, like I said, Tavares is pretty durable. If it's a striking match, it's gonna be low scoring out the ass without a finish. So that's the only realm of possibility. If Rodriguez doesn't want to go for takedowns, it's just a pure pop for pop. This fight's gonna be probably low scoring, boring as shit. But my pick's still RoboCop.
Yep, definitely. So both of us are going with RoboCop. Next up, we have Robert Rychek against Eor Pateria. Pateria is taking this fight on short notice because Rychek was supposed to fight. I don't remember, so I'm looking it up. Oh, you're supposed to fight Duraev. Duraev
Yeah.
pulled out due to visa issues.
And he
So
got
now,
cut.
did he really?
Yeah.
Damn. So now we get Pateria, and Pateria is somebody that I just can't figure out. He has like the skills to be a good fighter. He just has the IQ of a donkey. So who are you going with this one?
So this was another chance where I almost went dog. Because look, I told people that Pretoria was gonna be live in his last fight. And guess what? He almost won that fight multiple damn times. Except he didn't have the power to put the guy away. Um And I really wanted to pick him so bad in this fight, but I was watching tape of Berzak. That guy had like not like Jean-Claude Van Damme precise sniping punching power.
Hmm.
And I thought, I was like, nah, I ain't no Jean-Claude Van Damme. Until I saw one of his movies today and he damn near put the guy out just like him. I'm like, oh shit. I think there's a chance this guy is gonna look. I'll tell you right now, I'm not even trying to bullshit. This guy has a chance to get the 60-second bonus win. If he
Brychek
comes
is
out aggressive, he's gonna do it.
lit.
If he comes out aggressive, he's gonna get it.
Probably. I completely agree. I love Brychek for this. He has five first round finishes in a row, and man, he has got some nasty power. He's a if you think about the most chiseled dudes in the UFC, he's right there. He is making his debut, but he's making his debut against somebody who is just not a good fighter.
And
And
he's coming down to 185 too.
With Pateria's horrible fight IQ, I fully expect him just to get knocked out. And like you said, that 60-second bonus is definitely in play on this fight.
And like I said, I know sometimes we don't give out bets on here, but I would definitely sprinkle Bezirzak by round one knockout, see what the profit is for it. But this guy's a menace.
Yeah. All right. So both of us going with Robert Brychek. Next up,
And
we got
Brychek, but one more thing before Brychek. You know the crazy thing is, if his one training partner who's actually on this card had any sort of a freaking skill, he would be good too.
I believe it.
You know who his training partner is?
No.
Pacquiao. One of
Is it really?
yeah, they both train out of the same camp.
Nice. All right. So both of us going with Brychek. Next up, we got Dan Ige against Andre Feely. Man, I loved Feely's last fight when he just blew up
Demolished.
DFS and crushed Lucas Almeida with that knockout. Nobody was expecting it, but it was nasty. He does have good hands. I mean, he's got I think 10 knockouts, whatever it is. But that said, I'm all over Ige. I think just I mean, if you look at Ige's fights, the only people he loses to are the people in the top 10. TKZ, Emmett, Evloev, and his last one against Bryce Mitchell. And yes, Bryce Mitchell went and got himself knocked out by Emmett, but he's still a top 10 fighter. Ige, he's basically he's like the top 10 gatekeeper. And it's where it's right
Yep.
there. He just sits there and he can't beat the top 10, but he can beat everybody below it. And I think it's going to be more of that. I think he's more skilled than Feely. He just, so long as he avoids getting knocked out by a chip shot, he should win this fight relatively easy.
And originally, I don't know if this was going to be on this date or it was a fight before, but I think Ige was supposed to fight Lerone Murphy.
That would have been an even easier fight,
Um,
my opinion.
I'm going Andre Feely. No, I think this fight could be actually one of the better fights of the night. Um, Feely's the more athletic. He's gonna move around, bounce around. He has good jabs and good footwork, and if he really wants to, he has good wrestling, and he's had a good camp with Team Alpha Male with Uriah, Danny Castillo. I have a feeling they're gonna work in outside punches, kicks, and when Ige tries to close in, he's gonna change levels and potentially try to go for the legs. Because yes, Ige is a good offensive wrestler, but defensively, he can get his levels taken and he can get taken down. I do like Andre. I'm gonna keep going. I know Andre's been in the UFC for a while. He's had his hit or misses, being close to the top 15. He showed his absolute killer dog against Almeida last fight. I'm not expecting him to get a finish against Ige, but I think he's gonna keep it competitive, and I think he can, snag out a decision.
You better hope that he shoots for takedowns because he hasn't done it much in the last 5 fights.
I know. I'm telling you, if he
And
mixes it
and
up
if
for this camp, he's
and
gonna.
if you look at it, he gets outstruck when it's on the feet. So you better hope he shoots.
Mhm.
All right, we are split on that one. I have Dan Ige, you have Andre Feely. Next up, we have the main event: Jack Hermansson against Joe Pyfer. I already know where you're at, but let's hear it anyways.
Do I really need to break it down?
I know we gotta break it down for the audience.
Okay, so for the audience, I'll start with the dog and Jack Hermansson. He's
Oh,
well.
just go straight to Pyfer.
Oh, okay, so I'll go to the favorite. My man Joe Pfeiffer. Look, he's a bad boy. He's well rounded as shit. Got insane power for 85. Holy crap! If the rumors are true that he punches harder than Nagano,
That's
then
what I heard as well.
good mother of Jesus. Um, he's a good grappler. You've seen that in the last fight, and I know for a fact I've seen him in grappling tournaments. He wrestles good. He has good wrestling and grappling training partners at Renzo Philly. Um, Sneaky submission game, as you saw in his last fight. Then the dog in Hermansson. He's well rounded ish, but he's primarily a grappler. He's his striking's developed throughout his time in the UFC. But if Hermansson is smart in this fight, you better bring your wrestling boots in this fight. Because if you're standing in front of Pyfer and knowing how Hermansson does have a low guard, Pyfer might knock him into another dimension if he lands clean with them overhands. Similar to what Cannonier did and how he rocked him and then TKO'd him. If Pyfer lands clean once, you're going to sleep face down, ass up. I hate to compare it that way, but so my pick's going to be like Joe Pyfer, as Dana White said, be like Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, I'm all over him as well. The only thing Hermanson really has going for him is that he's got the volume edge on this fight, and all of his losses. We can go back, a couple of fights. All of his losses are a fight. All of his losses are against top 10 guys. So I mean, he's still there. He's still a top fighter. Unfortunately, I just think he's going to get hit one time and he's going to be hurt, and it's going to be over really quick after that because Joe hits hard. So
I still
both of
can't
us
believe he hits
are
that
going
hard.
with the favorite in that one, and that should put him firmly in the top 15. And who knows what he's going to get after that.
And one thing I'll say that's crazy about this he is the main event before the Super Bowl tomorrow on that Sunday.
Mhm.
So who knows? I think a lot of stars could be a lot of celebrities there watching. A lot of people watching the fight before he gets that highlight finish. His name's gonna keep on rising.
Yep, I completely agree.
And so, who's your favorite play?
Oh, it's got to be a dog.
Oh,
My
you're gonna
favorite.
put a dog?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're locking dogs.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just boring. But as far as dogs go, my favorite dog that I'm going to probably lock in.
You're probably gonna pick mine too.
No, I'm gonna lock in Giles. Yeah, he's the dog. I'm locking
Yeah.
in Giles.
I'll say this right now. Anybody that's going Giles, I don't hate that. As I said, that's not my most confident pick because I think one of these two fighters will pay off their tag easily. Even in Giles' in decision, I think he could take this guy down, get some control time, and slow this kid down. But
Who you got?
I,
Is your lock?
oh, let me see. You got Giles. If I went Brazil, I would go Brazil, but I wasn't going off that. Mm, I'm going Flowers. I really do think, and I hate to say it because I like Michael Johnson. He's been in so many good fights, but I just think, look, you get knocked out like that against Ferreira. That's for one. I don't know how he's coming back so soon. That was one of them knockouts. You're like, bro, you need to stop. No, if I was his family member, I would probably say, yo, look, you love the fight, but you need to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it was back in May. He's had plenty of time to recover.
Do you have a favorite like payout?
I have a few of those, quite a few of those.
Like
You
I
can
said,
go
I can pick
first.
the obvious one, but I'm not gonna pick the obvious one.
My favorite pay up is actually, you know what? My favorite pay up is Brychek.
You son of a bitch. That's who I was gonna pick too. I wasn't gonna be original and say Pfeiffer because you know I'm not trying to be biased. And if anybody wants to do anything, like I said, we don't usually try to give out bets. I'll give you out two just for be nice. If you want to do Pfeiffer, cross check, I don't know what the line's gonna be on that. Or if you want to do their KO props together, that's not bad either. But whew, favorites. No, I'm think. Damn it. Yeah, I thought you were gonna go with some Wells because how high you're building up Wells for that matchup. Even though I got Wells winning, I'll go with Wells because, like I said, I think early this fight could be close. Like I said, Max Griffin does tend to slow down, and we've seen Wells' cardio go well into round three. And I think if he doesn't get a finish, he's going to score well in decision, possibly if he gets the takedowns going.
Absolutely. So that wraps up this card. Next week is an even better card. We have the return of Volkanovski going against Tapuria, Whitaker, Costa, Neil, Gary. I mean, the card's loaded. Wallace Feely's on the card against Cejudo. And there's a lot to look forward to next week. So, as always, we appreciate you watching, and we will catch you next week.